affordable housing, healthcare, education, economic opportunity, public safety, mental health, criminal justice reform, and other rights that should be restored to all our communities. Our ability is arbitrarily capped. This isn't a bureaucratic rule. This is a rule of new to Georgia. This is a direct assault on our democracy. It limits our debates, stifles our innovation, and prevents meaningful solutions from being reached by the people who need it the most. Imagine being told that you can only have 10 concerns that matter a year. Imagine that. Imagine knowing that critical issues in your district won't even get a chance to be heard because your representative reached that cap. Not because they weren't important, not because it was unjust, not because it was unimportant, because there's an unjust limit placed on the House, placed on those elected. This censorship is in real time. It's not just silencing legislators, it's silencing. When we are limited to the number of bills that we can introduce, we are limited to the power to represent people. We are limited to the power to represent voters. We are limited to the power to do God's will and right. And I refuse to let that happen. We must fight back against these restrictions, demand transparency, and ensure that every voice is heard, that every black voice is heard, that every brown voice is heard, and every voice of the hue of the rainbow is heard, and that every issue has a chance to be heard. And because of this, our democracy works better, and democracy doesn't work when we are silenced, but democracy does not work when we are silenced by the very people that is meant to serve. Thank you, and I yield the will.
Thank you all so much for coming out today. We are going to begin our conference with a presentation by Reverend Christopher Johnson from Greater Augusta Interfaith Coalition.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I'm Reverend Christopher Johnson with the Greater Augusta Interfaith Coalition. We're here today to celebrate Black Voters Matter because we believe that Black Voters Matter mean more to us today than they ever did before. We're always reminded in Isaiah 6 when it was reminded to us that the year that King Uzziah died, Isaiah said he saw the Lord. So it's in this era that we're living in now that we're calling on people to get up and to be called to do the work. It is time now for us to engage the system like we never engaged the system before. Every place that the policies are made, every place that decisions are made, we need to be there. It is imperative in a time like this, when we live among people with unclean lips, unclean hearts, unclean minds, unclean disposition, and unclean motives, that the people of God stand in the midst of darkness. Thank
from the South Town. We have Mr. Todd with social change.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. My name is Todd Belcourt. I'm proud to be here from Social Change, an organization unapologetically committed to liberation. When I say that, I'm talking about the notion of freedom. We live in America, home of the free. How can it be free? Millions of people are not allowed to vote because of past mistakes. America, land of the free. How can it be free? Millions of people are struggling to keep food on their table, a roof over their heads, and any of the basic necessities of what freedom actually represents. Land of the free. How can it be free that more people are in prison in some of our communities than are in college? How can it be free that more people look like us on the streets than in this capital? How can it be free if we don't have a real voice that actually transform what freedom looks like for us? Until we can teach our history, until we can vote in our polls, until we can work and do what our actual talents allow, that is not what freedom is. That is why social change exists, to fight to make sure freedom is actually free for all of us. So when we engage in these fights in this capital, any other capital around the world, we ask that you not just talk with us, but join us in this fight. Join us in fighting back where Black voters matter. Join us in the pulpits with the courageous and progressive pastors. Be brave like this land is meant to be. Bravery is what's required now to be in the place where we can reclaim what is truly ours. That's this entire country.
Thank you so much, Mr. Todd. All right. We have the awesome, the amazing, I have the honor of introducing the executive director of Georgia Conservation Board, who's none other than Ms. Beyonce McCorkle.
Hey, I'm super excited to be here. My name is Beyonce McCorkle. I'm the Executive Director of Georgia Conservation Voters. I work on climate change and environmental justice issues with my amazing team. And I do this work and I'm happy to be here with Black Voters Matter because as long as I've been organizing on climate and environmental justice issues, I have seen the way that the Black community has been impacted by pollution unfairly and unjustly. I have seen the impacts of climate change in the form of extreme heat, worsening air quality as the rates attack the health of the Black community. I have seen industries moving into Black communities, promising jobs at the expense of people's air and water. I cannot stand it, and so I'm here standing with Black Voters Matter today. One of the first things that I did in my leadership role was file a lawsuit to protect the rights of Black voters. Across the street, we've got the Public Service Commission that's been raising bills relentlessly on the Black community every year, multiple times a year. They're allowing Georgia Power to produce tons of pollution, burning coal in our communities, putting coal ash in our water, expanding gas. It is an outrage. We have got to get ahead of these commissioners who do not care about the health and well-being of our community. They don't care about our financial well-being, and they're standing there saying they've got our backs, but they do not. I filed that lawsuit because the way that those people are elected unfairly dilutes Black votes. It is a way to drown out the Black people in this state with a mostly white voter base who don't even pay Georgia Power bills. They're not even impacted by the decision of the commission. And so we filed that lawsuit, me and some of the leaders here at Black Voters Matter, to try to get those rights, but unfortunately the courts did not do the right thing. So this year we're organizing here at the Capitol to try to get protection for Black consumers, for Black voters. We are working on a consumer utility bill to do the job that the Public Service Commission is failing to do. And that's protecting
name is Dr. Melanie Calhoun, and I am honored to stand here today during Black History Month. We are gathered here not to just reflect on the past, but to shape the future. A future that demands our voices, our actions, and our votes. Black history is a story of resilience, resistance, and progress. It is a history of a people who, despite systemic oppression, fought and continue to fight for the rights that too many take for granted. Our ancestors knew the cost of democracy. They understood that freedom without political power is fragile. From the abolitionists who challenged the institutions of slavery to the activists who risked their lives for civil rights, Black history is American history. As we stand here today, we know the Georgia legislature is considering SB 50, which is the Peace Care Plus Act, which will fully close Georgia's healthcare coverage gap. And so we must cry like our dear Fannie Lou Hamer, a woman of deep faith, who declared, "I am sick and tired of being sick and tired." Let us remember Fannie, who was beaten in jail simply for trying to register to vote, and John Lewis, who nearly lost his life on the Edmonds Pettus Bridge so that we can have the access to the ballot box. We must remember the countless unnamed men and women who endured literacy testing, poll taxes, and violence. Voter suppression is trying to silence our voices. There is injustice in our healthcare system, in our housing, in our wages. We see laws being passed that threaten our very dignity as a people. We cannot afford to despair. The same God that brought our ancestors through the cotton fields and Jim Crow and over the Edmonds Pettus Bridge, he is still God today. And yet today, we find ourselves in a political climate where voter suppression tactics still threaten our democracy. Polling places are closed and voting rights protections are being weakened. The forces that once used literacy tests and intimidation now use restrictive ID laws and misinformation and voter purges to achieve the same goal of silencing our voices. Now the devil trying to keep me from speaking. So I'm gonna wet my whistle so I can make sure y'all hear me. And y'all hear me loud and clear. We must work for change. We must vote for it. We must demand justice in our courts, in our schools, in our healthcare, and in our government. We are not powerless. We have a weapon as strong as protest, as enduring as any speech, and that is our vote, and we must wield it. Voting is not just a civic duty, it is a spiritual responsibility. So my brothers and sisters, do not let distractions and discouragement and disinformation keep us from the polls. We face healthcare disparities and economic inequalities, education gaps, and environmental justice. These challenges will not fix themselves. We must elect leaders who understand the struggles we face, who will fight for policies that uplift all people, not just the privileged few. Why? Because every election matters, not just presidential ones. The road to justice does not begin in Washington, but in local elections, school boards, city councils, district attorneys. These leaders we know that in the end, and I will close this press conference with this,